Hello, my name is Allison Posner. I am the co-president of Soma Action. And also with me asking questions today will be Barbara Velasquez, also a trustee on Soma Action and the chair of our Social and Racial Justice Committee. Soma Action is a grassroots organization dedicated to driving progressive change. As part of that, we put out a voter guide for every election, interviewing and sometimes evaluating candidates about their support for the issues our committees are working on. There are many important issues facing our county, but for this interview, the questions are restricted to only those areas where Soma Action's committees have done at least as much work as we would be asking the candidates to do. If you notice that important topics are missing, and they are, we encourage you to reach out to the candidates to ask them about them and also join a committee and help expand our work. Today, we are joined by Martin Ceperley, a candidate for Maplewood Township Committee. Martin, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Could you please introduce yourself and tell us why you're running for Township Committee?
My name's Martin. I've been a resident of Maplewood for 15 years now. I'm raising three kids here. I live on Parker Avenue. I'm joining this race as a community organizer and a transportation advocate. I've been one of the organizers behind the Soma bike bus movement that's been growing over the last 3 years in Soma. Bringing kids onto the streets and kind of reinventing transportation in our town and trying to push the boundaries in terms of what is possible with safety on our streets. We've been fighting for bike lanes for years. We finally got our first bike lanes installed in Parker Avenue, and that's what propelled me to join the TC race. I want safer streets across town, and we need people on the TC, on the five-person committee who prioritize that. We can prioritize moving. We're a very small, dense town, and we need to rethink our approach to transportation in our town to meet the infrastructure demands of the next 30 years. So that involves bike lanes, that involves improved pedestrian safety, improved crosswalks across town, and improved bus service. We have a wonderful jitney bus service already that provides commuters a way to get to the train station without driving, but it needs to be expanded. We need a bus service that serves our restaurants at night. We already have the buses. We can do these things. We just have to prioritize them. We need a bus route to South Orange and back. Our teenagers, our middle schoolers, our seniors, people of all ages, they need transportation options. We're a very small town, less than 4 square miles. We're one of the densest counties in the whole country, the densest state in the country. We have density and it's an asset. We need to treat it as such. But this isn't just about transportation. This is about bringing progressive values into the town committee in terms of housing. I think we need to push for more affordable housing across town, in every part of town. And we need to provide infrastructure that's going to support that. It's about revitalizing businesses like on Springfield Avenue, about supporting small business owners, removing restrictive regulations that are out of date, that are constraining businesses like the newly emerging Newark Way, Boyden Avenue neighborhood. It's facing some very difficult zoning challenges, and we need a township committee that's going to prioritize these new development patterns, reuse of industrial spaces, of kind of fostering the creative, passionate community that we have in Maplewood. And that involves thinking towards the future, thinking about how our streets can be pedestrianized so people will spend more money there. And that ties into affordability. We need to keep Maplewood affordable. We need to keep people living here, being able to afford to live here. The people who work here should be able to afford to live here. So part of that is expanding our tax base with the small business improvements that I was talking about. We need more businesses and we need more visitors to Maplewood. We're a destination. We should treat our commercial areas as such. Maplewood Village is a destination. Springfield Avenue is a destination. Newark Way is a destination. And we have lots of small pockets of commerce like True Salvage Kitchen. We have We have all these pockets of commerce. We need to, the township should be promoting them. The township should play a more active role in bringing people into the town and using media in modern, engaging ways. We just, I think we need some new ideas on township committee, and that's why I'm running.
Thank you. So you've touched on this a little bit, but what will your top three priorities be as a township committee member?
Um, my top three priorities: transportation, first and foremost, in terms of making the town more accessible via bike, via pedestrian facilities, via public transit. That's probably number one. Number two is small businesses. Like I was talking about, revitalizing Springfield Avenue. I think we need a new approach to Springfield Avenue. We need to prioritize making these places destinations where people are going to spend time and spend money. There's a foot traffic problem on Springfield Avenue because it's an unpleasant place to walk. We need to turn that around. We need to make it a destination where people are going to spend time, a destination that promotes public art, public music, just culture on the streets. And For number three, let me gather my thoughts on number three. I guess number three would probably be environmental issues. I think we have an obligation to ourselves to make Maplewood a truly sustainable town, not just in words, but through actions, through policy. So yeah, part of that is the transportation that I already mentioned. We should be lowering our carbon footprint. Residential energy use, including heating and cooling, rooftop solar, that stuff should be prioritized. DPW, DPW practices should be modernized. Honestly, we need to be a green town in words and values. So yeah.
Thank you. What will you do to help protect our town from ICE raids and other authoritarian crackdowns?
I think we need a townwide alert system, using modern tools. Right now, we various community groups might be used for alerting neighbors and residents of ICE raids. But we need to use more modern technology. Facebook is not an official government platform. It's owned by Meta. We need to stop treating Facebook as a platform, where a lot of people do not belong to that. We need to use inclusive technology solutions to make it easy to report these things and to make it easy to distribute. I think the police department already uses a Nixle system, which I'm not fond of. I think we can find better ways to communicate these things. When we need the police department to spearhead this, the police department is the largest municipal agency there. That's where the majority of our municipal tax dollars go, and their duty is public safety. And so I think that's a lot on the police department in order to make the residents safer by alerting them to these ICE incursions.
Thank you. How will you help protect additional people who are being targeted by the Trump administration, including trans and other LGBTQIA plus people, people of color, and continue to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in our towns?
I think we need to get better at communication, honestly. I think the communication from the town is limited, and it could be better in terms of how the town can communicate to all the groups in town in terms of how to protect themselves and what kind of challenges they might be facing from the federal government. So yeah, I don't know on the municipal level, like the specific policies I would champion, but in general, I think the township has a job to protect its citizens and protect its residents of every group. And so we need to keep Maplewood safe, and we need to keep it comfortable for everyone. We want this to be a place where everyone feels safe raising kids, and people feel like their voices are being heard and represented with local government.
Thank you. I'm going to pass it to Barbara for our next set of questions.
Hello, Martin.
Hi, Barbara.
Um, okay, what can you do as a township committee member to help ensure that everyone can safely exercise their right to vote and can oppose government actions without being criminalized?
Um, I think we have to work with Essex County and keep the polls safe. I think any incursion into the polls, into our polling processes, should be loudly condemned. And yeah, we need to use our government to protect the polls, protect against misinformation. I think a lot of times with social media, there's it's easy for misinformation to propagate. Um, and yeah, so I think that's the number one thing is just transparency in terms of what might be coming down from the federal government and keeping citizens informed and keeping citizens engaged. We need a level of transparency, I think, from our local government.
Okay, now, I think you touched on this earlier, but maybe you could expand a bit on it. How will you help Maplewood promote sustainability, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and increase resilience to climate change?
Um, well, part of it is transportation that I already touched on. I think we have a duty. A lot of greenhouse gases come from transportation sources. We're a very small town, less than 4 square miles. So we have a duty to reduce our transportation emissions, and part of that's through policy, through municipal policy, including our parking policy, our jitney bus policy. We municipal policy should be encouraging a better quality of life in Maplewood, not just the status quo. We need to think about the future and how we're raising our kids. So that's why I pushed for bike lanes, and I'm going to keep pushing for bike lanes because even though not everyone can ride a bike, the more options we enable for people, the more we allow people to make greener choices on their own. So if some people are riding a bike, that's some cars off the road, that's some traffic reduced. If people feel safe walking, that's some cars off the road. If people feel safe taking the bus, where maybe they didn't used to take a bus, or we have a new bus route that we've added that wasn't there before, that's some cars off the road. If we encourage people to convert to electric cars. That's some gasoline that's not being used. And then the same goes for homes in Maplewood. They're aging homes. A lot of them are over 100 years old. So it's our job to educate the town and how they make green choices. I have a home that's entirely heated and cooled by electric heat pumps, and I'd love to have more education around what heat pumps are, their benefits, some of their drawbacks, so that people are empowered to make their own green choices. No one's forcing them, but when people have this education, then they can connect the dots and make smart financial and sustainable solutions for their family.
Thank you. How will you help ensure that our grass playing fields are well maintained? And related to that, what are your views on replacing grass with artificial turf?
We mentioned climate resiliency, and I think it's important that we think about sustainability and climate resiliency and stormwater management because we are facing a climate catastrophe, and we have very little green space in the town of Maplewood. We're so developed that the pockets of green space we have, I think we have to be very careful in terms of how we use them. Our parks serve a variety of purposes. Um, my local park, Borden Park, is a community gathering spot. It's a hub. It's the lifeline of our community, and it's used by so many different kinds of people. It's by young moms walking their babies in strollers, by people jogging, walking laps, by all these uses. So, I think we have to balance those uses and balance the sustainability. I think in terms of the grass playing fields, yeah, they need to be better maintained. We need to figure out how we can put that in the budget to have proper maintenance by horticulture experts, how and make sure the drainage under the soil is properly engineered. So I think some of that is some financial work in terms of how to put that in the budget so they are properly maintained, not just cut the grass and call it a day. I saw we have new tennis courts going in Borden Park. I think that's amazing. I just saw that yesterday. So yeah, I think our parks serve so many purposes. This discussion is so heated that uh, it's hard for two sides to come together in our town. I think often our online forums promote the loudest voices instead of the consensus. We need to be working to build consensus in our community rather than these polarizing online discussions that lead nowhere.
Okay, and last question. And as Allison mentioned earlier, our questions only cover things that our committees are working on, but there's a lot of other important stuff that the Township Committee does. So is there anything else you'd like to talk about that we haven't covered yet?
Anything else that I'd like to talk about? I'll talk about why I'm running under the Essex Reform Democrats ballot line. I think our local Democratic Party is closely tied with the Essex County Committee, with the establishment politics in New Jersey. We had a mayor's race decided based on who someone supported for governor, and I think that's unacceptable. So I think we have a lot to learn from the politics in South Orange, where it's nonpartisan. I think our municipal body should be focused on municipal politics, and we need some separation from this influence machine from Trenton, from the county bosses. So that's why I didn't seek the Maplewood Democratic Committee endorsement. I think we could use some new ideas and some more independence in Maplewood in terms of how our politics operates. And yeah, so thank you.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us.
And I'm so
Oh,
sorry. I think we actually skipped question 7, um, which is how, and you did touch on this, but I just want to make sure that we give you the opportunity to answer all of the questions. How will you help improve pedestrian safety infrastructure and bike lanes in Maplewood?
Well, that's a great question. Well, bike lanes, yeah, I've been one of the community organizers and advocates for a bike lane. We just got our first bike lane approved in front of my house on Parker Avenue, and it's a great start, but it's not perfect. We asked for protection. We asked for flex posts along the length of the bike lane, and the town denied us. The bike lane has gaps in it. You would never build a sidewalk with gaps in it. You would never build a road with gaps in it. We need continuous bike lanes. And we need the bike lane to extend to Irvington Avenue, because that corner of town where Parker Avenue meets Irvington Avenue is just as much a part of Maplewood as the rest of town. This year, I'm going to push for bike lanes. The town has already started discussing bike lanes on Prospect Street, so we're going to be organizing around bike lanes on Prospect Street. In terms of pedestrian safety, we need more physical traffic calming. That enforcement is never going to be 24/7. I mean, it needs to be improved for sure, but it's never going to be 24/7. So paint and signs are not enough. Flashing lights are not enough. We need physical traffic calming infrastructure that's been proven around the world to reduce fatalities and to slow down drivers. That involves narrowing lane width through curb bump outs, through raised crosswalks, through better timing of pedestrian signals. Some signals, like in front of the high school, Parker and Valley, should be there should be a pedestrian. It's called a scramble signal, where pedestrians can go in all four directions at the same time. In terms of pedestrian safety in Maplewood Village, I think there's a lot of work to be done there. The sidewalks are too narrow. Some of the parking is not safe. Some of the angled spots are not safe. We need to think about making Maplewood Village a destination where you're going to be lingering, where kids can run around and play, where musicians can play, and it's a place you go to hang out on a Sunday afternoon. So we need to think about how to accomplish that. It's not just through narrow sidewalks. It's through a process called pedestrianization. And it's been proven around the world to boost businesses because you make Maplewood Village a destination where people are going to spend time and spend money. People are going to travel from around the state to come to Maplewood Village. And so we need to support that. Um, so yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Great. Thank you. As Barbara said, thank you so much on behalf of all of us here at Soma Action for joining us today. And we hope to see you around soon.
All right. Thanks so much for
Thank
having
you.
me. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.